So I, speaking of making noises, have failed to mention that one of the things that's really important to me in somatics is making noises. And so we can't hear each other. Sometimes I wish we could. But I'm going to encourage you today in this practice to make noises. We did a little bit of a shh sound yesterday, right, if you were with me. But noises are one of the many ways that we release energy. So today's practice is really my favorite intuitive, informative way to move. And it's creating spirals in the body, moving in a spiral fashion. And our body itself, the viscera, particularly the heart, was created by spirals rolling out of one another. The heart is actually a 4-chamber spiral. And the bones, the muscles, our arms the arms, bones spiral out of the rib cage in fetal development. So there's all this really interesting stuff. And I know when I studied yoga, I studied Anusara, so we study the spiral patterns in the body, the shins in, thighs back, there's all this kind of stuff, which what it does is it helps us to create comfort and stability hand in hand. Those things are actually not separate from one another. So this is a whole different way to create comfort and stability. And I find that it's a very powerful way to release not only physically if we feel stuck, because we get stuck in moving in certain motions, but also energetically. So before we start, think about if there's a physical place in your body where you feel stuck, and it could be a knee joint, an organ, a shoulder, a muscle that's chronically tight, right? We say it has sensory motor amnesia. And you may want to set your intention for that particular area, but there also may be an emotion that feels stuck in your body. Because emotions are normal. What's not normal is when we don't let them process, and they find places in our tissues to hang out for too long. So if you're holding on to an emotion too, and sometimes that shows in a particular space in your body, just be honest with yourself and think about that, okay? And we're going to get started. As I mentioned on the comments, you'll see I've got a nice, if I step out of the way here, I've got a nice big space again. That blanket is the size of 2 yoga mats, and I actually do have 2 yoga mats underneath there for an extra padding. But if you have the ability to create a nice spacious area for yourself, please do, because once again, we will be going off-roading. You don't have to stay on this little teeny tiny mat. So without further ado, let's come down and let's land first. So coming onto your back, you can make yourself as big or small as you like. I do want to point out, and I'll do a short blanket folding class, but if you like to have a pillow, you're going to want something long, so you might need 2 pillows. But what I tend to do is I take my blanket long, you can use any blanket, and fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. So what I'm getting is a mess. Hold on. What I'm getting is a nice long rectangle, like a stripe, and then I'll put that where my head's going to go so that as I'm rolling, my head's not falling off the blanket. So you can do that. I actually like the neat side of the blanket towards my neck, so I'm going to flip that around, the particulars. So please come down. If it's comfortable, extend your legs. If not, you can keep your knees bent. Wherever you want your hands and arms. Hands and arms can be at your sides, palms up, palms down, or if you want to bring them to your body, oftentimes bringing them to your body will bring more awareness into your breath because you're feeling your breath. We're going to allow ourselves to land first, meaning just feel any parts of your body that are touching the ground. And this time I'm going to ask you to do that for yourself, whether you want to start at the feet or the head. I do what's called play the energy game. If you do your best to keep your conscious awareness in your back body right now, where does it go? What draws your attention? And can you meet yourself in that space with kindness, maybe even lovingly, and ask that space to be open to receiving the support of the ground? Just noticing where your mind goes. Notice where it doesn't go too. Are you able to feel your heels? Can you sense your buttocks, shoulder blades, the weight of the arms, the way the skull has landed? What else appears in your vision, in the backside? And if you want to connect it into your breath, think of your breath out as your opportunity to release and relax into the ground. And because we're working energetically as much as we are physically, I just want to take a moment to have you locate some different areas in your body. And you can always use your hands, because your hands are nice tools for your nervous system. That makes it a little more tactile. But you're going to start by either thinking of or even sliding your hands to your back body. We're in the back body now. And imagine your kidneys back there, just at the low ribs. Think of your kidneys. Most of us have 2. Some may only have 1. Some people actually have 3 kidneys. My sister. But notice your kidneys. And even if you only have 1, we imagine 2, and that goes for any organs that we may have had removed. The energy of the organs is still there. See if you can take a few breaths into your kidneys, just acknowledging the space. So yesterday we talked about the imagery of anatomy. And for me, I like to connect with the organs and the energy of the organs to help me to move. So now while you're still, you're just noticing. Thank you, beautiful kidneys. And you might even, before you leave there, I like to see some of the glands, your adrenal glands. We know that we don't want those to be too active, but they need to work for us. And you can see those just kind of pillowed right on top of your kidneys. So if you feel like you've been more in a state of anxiety, fight or flight, this is an opportunity to ask them to relax and release. And then take your awareness into your front body. If you want to use your hands, place your hands down. We'll start at the lower pelvis, just acknowledging any of your organs of reproduction. Once again, even if they're not there physically, energetically, acknowledge them. See what you can see with the mind's eye, or feel your breath moving that area. So if you still have your ovaries, even if you don't, they look like little brain corals. They're lovely. And then you can work your way up. Come up your right side and imagine your ascending colon. You could even just sort of trace it and come across the center, transverse colon right under the rib cage, and then coming back down the descending colon. Just picture this U shape of your colon. Wherever it lands, the large colon. And then right inside of it, nestled inside, is all of those lengths of small intestines. Another area, so if you have any issues with gut health, this might be one of the areas that you focus on when you're moving. Just above that, your stomach right in the middle. And all of this is still in what we'd say the abdominal cavity. So below the diaphragm's the divider between the abdominal cavity and the thoracic or chest cavity. And just seeing what you can see there. You might want to come over to the right side. And imagine your liver, gallbladder just right next to it, snuggled in. And the liver, unfortunately, holds anger. As a Pitta, I'm very familiar with that one. So say hello to your liver. If you go all the way across to the opposite side, I always like to honor the spleen, what we call our splenic chakra, which is right on the left side by the ribs. And not only is it important in supporting your blood physically, but it is the distributor of prana, of life force in your body. So hey, say hello to your spleen. You can feel your left and right lung. If you're having any issues with respiratory system, acknowledge them. The fronts, the sides, you can feel them in the back as well, where they're touching the ground. Remembering your right lung is a little bit bigger than the left, 3 lobes versus 2. Just picturing this in your body. I always find it so interesting when we grow into this spiral. These spirals grow us into our humanness. And on the outside, we look so symmetrical, but on the inside, that's not true. So even with those lungs, and now we know that the left lung is smaller, and if you slide your hands to your heart, your physical heart, feel that beautiful muscle. Acknowledge your heart. You can feel the front. You can also feel the back of the heart door, where it's resting on the ground. Maybe acknowledging the thymus gland, or what we call the high heart, just above the physical heart. The seat of your immune system. That's a good one to get going this time of year during cold and flu season. And if there's anything else that I didn't mention, and it could also be bones and muscles, but I wanted to take you through your beautiful viscera in your body. And then we're going to slowly start by bending the knees, placing the feet on the ground, and rolling on to the left side. Just take your palms together, let yourself land on your left. And if you want to, you can make this a breath initiated movement, and that would mean breathing into your right lung. Doesn't have to be, but you can feel the movement of your right lung as it goes up and expands the space between your hip and your armpit on a breath in. You might even feel the left ribs lift up, and breathe out. Let the right lung come in and down. So the right lung could be the driving force, creating space. And this is a little bit like a rotation that we do to start. Your legs can start wherever you want, so they can be stacked. You can let them fall. It really doesn't matter. This is a lot more opportunistic and playful, and really letting you go where you need to go. But for the sake of starting us out, feel your right shoulder blade. Maybe breathe into your right lung. And as you breathe in, begin to roll the right shoulder blade to the ground. So you're spiraling from your shoulders to the right. And as you breathe out, you're spiraling from the shoulders back to the left. And I'm just letting my arm stay kind of relaxed. I might start just sliding the hand to the elbow, then the shoulder, maybe across the chest. So think of building a spiral, and you can imagine a spiral staircase if that helps. I actually love to think of like seahorses in the water, if you watch them. And you're building the spiral from the shoulder girdle and letting the head follow, letting the waist follow. If you want to keep doing it to breath, you can inhale, spiral, open, exhale, close. Do a few more from your shoulder. Go really easy. If you find one breath per movement gets you dizzy or in any way you feel uncomfortable, go slower. So now we're going to do the same movement, but we're going to move from the head. So you're going to start the spiral from anywhere in your head. It might be your nose. We had a little bit of taste of this. You can move from your soft palate. You can move from your chin. You could also move from your eyes with your eyes open. But start the spiral by looking behind you over your right shoulder. And then let the shoulder follow, and the ribs and the waist. And then when you come back, turn your head first. Sometimes the easiest way to do the head is to use the feedback of the floor. So notice you'll start kind of on your left temple, and then you can roll through your left ear, through the base of the skull, coming all the way towards the right ear, and then coming back through the base of the skull, onto the left ear, and maybe all the way onto the forehead even. But let your head lead you into the spiral and take you out. As I start to spiral, grow the spiral, I usually just kind of let the breath do its thing. Still acknowledging breathing into the right lung. And do one more from the head. And then we'll pause, come back. So we've moved from the shoulders and we've moved from the head. Now I want you to feel your feet and your legs. And we're going to spiral from our feet to our head. So your arms can relax and you get to move your legs however you need to. So it might be stepping. Remember the principle of creating force by pushing into or pulling away from. So that means to spiral to the right, I might push into the right foot. I might also pull away from the ground with the left leg, but I'm going to let my legs go first. And then my hips follow the pelvis. Then the shoulders go. And eventually the head. And coming back, same thing. Legs go first. I can feel my pelvis go, my torso, my shoulders, and my head. And you're going to get sloppy. That's okay. Take your time. Play with it. Or don't take your time. Just don't get dizzy. Move and feel the difference of moving. You can initiate from your feet, pressing into the big toe or little toe side. You can move from your knees. So if your knees are one of the grumpy parts of your body, and mine were not too long ago, I would encourage my knees to take control. I'd say, listen, I want you to move, because then I know that my knees know they're safe. They get to choose how fast, how slow, how big, how small the movement is. So if you have any grumpy parts of your body, maybe let them lead. It's like the child that wants more attention. Sometimes you got to give them that extra attention. Or in my case, the big black puppy. So leading from your legs, letting the pelvis follow. And then the upper body. And then come back, relax again. We'll keep going to the right for a while, but now we're going to go back to starting from the head or the shoulders. You get to choose. But think of building the spiral from the upper body, the crown of the head, or the shoulders, or the feet. So now I'm going to start from my head. And I want to take this arm overhead to get a little more stretch. So I might reach my right arm. And I'm going to go all the way. So instead of stopping, I'm going to let the pelvis and the legs follow till I come all the way over to the right. And then coming out, I'm still coming up. You're going to get a little core work here. I'm still trying to come up from my head and my shoulders first, letting the legs follow. So if you did my intuitive core practice, you'll see some similarities here, because you're going to have to use some of those muscles in the center of your body to get back. Notice when you can just fall with gravity. There's those times. Versus needing to use force, whether that force is pushing into the ground or pulling away from the ground. So for me right now, I'm lifting my right shoulder off the ground to get back, feeling my side body muscles. Take a few more, leading from the head or the shoulders, the upper body. Build that spiral. And let the legs, the pelvis and the legs follow. If it doesn't feel good to take the hand overhead, you can keep it here too. Going slowly, so not just letting yourself fall too much. All right, take one more leading from the upper body to the right. wind coming out. So let's do the same thing, only we're going to start the spiral from the legs. So you can feel your feet. And the other thing I like to do is you're welcome to extend your legs. You don't have to keep your knees bent. So just like you might take an arm overhead, you could take a leg and reach it. You could reach both legs, get the pelvis first, then the shoulders, then come back, legs first, whether you want to keep them bent or straight, that's up to you. Legs go, waist goes, arms. Sometimes I picture too the kelp in the water. It's such a beautiful vision for me, the way it just gently moves and rolls. So rolling from your lower body through the waist, upper body. And then I'm just going to throw in another option here. We're moving from the lower body. What happens if you decide to do this from one of those beautiful organs that we've visualized? So maybe it's your heart, and that's going to be more of an upper body spiral start. Or maybe it's your stomach, your colon, from the center. You could move from your kidneys, the center of the body, right? So we started more from the girdles, the arms and the legs. But can you let yourself spiral to the right? Maybe from an organ. So I like to think of right side. There's my liver. What if I just let my liver land first? And let the legs follow. And the liver presses into the ground to take me back. Notice it's very intuitive. And you need to use your imagery, use your imagination. What parts of your body are available to you to move from? Not just bones or muscles, viscera, skin. Moving from your spleen maybe, feeling it on the ground. Then take your last one and just land on your left side. Be still. You can draw yourself into a fetal curl, rounding your back, drawing your shoulders towards your knees and knees towards your shoulders, even your chin towards your chest. If it feels good, just rock yourself. Nice, easy rock. So usually my image when I do this is of water, whether it's the seahorse or the kelp moving in the water. But today I was thinking about, as I was watching this storm Isa come in, the swirling wind, right? And the swirling wind is a spiral, and it's so powerful. So creating that powerful energy within your body, because it's the power of that energy that will shake things up, loosen them, release them, reset. And then we're going to be doing the other side. So I'm going to turn towards you. You can just sort of switch over if you'd like. But we'll be resting on the right side. Check to see you have whatever you want underneath your head. This gets a little trickier for me with my microphone. And land on your right side first. Remember to always start small and slow. The smaller and the slower the movement, the more your brain absorbs it, the more opportunity the energy can release. And you might start like last time, just feeling your breath in your left lung. You could place your left hand there. Feel the expansion, the lifting of your left rib cage. And that natural recoil as you breathe out. Noticing the spaciousness that's created between your hip and your armpit as you're breathing in. And the landing. You can feel it from your right waist. Does your right waist lift a little bit? And does it fall? And so we start the spiral really more from the center if you're choosing to use your breath, but that's up to you. So I like to at least acknowledge breath first. You can take your hands, just let the left hand fall on the right. Your arm is soft and relaxed. And if you hold tension in your shoulders, that's going to be a really important part of this, to let the arms relax. As you breathe into your left lung, begin to roll the left shoulder blade towards the ground behind you. Maybe just a little bit first. You can always add on. Breathe out and come back. The other thing we check is that, are you keeping the head heavy, not lifting the neck? Breathe in, rolling. Something I really appreciate too is your skin is your largest organ, and feeling your left hand slide on your right hand, or arm, all the way up the arm, feeling your own skin, like a gentle self-massage. Breathing into that left lung. So we're breathing into the lung, moving from the shoulder blade, letting the head follow, and the waist. Maybe your left elbow comes down to the ground. What I try to avoid is extending that arm out, because then we're actually putting a lot of strain on the pectoral muscles here, which are part of that fight or flight. So just keeping that in an easeful, supported stretch around your collarbone. And then let's continue moving to the left, but see if you can move from your head. And you can feel your cheek on the ground. You might move from your cheek, your base of your skull. You could move from your eyes with your eyes open. You can experience moving from your soft palate or your nose. But start with your gaze or your head. Let the shoulder follow and the waist. And when you come back, gaze first or head, roll through your head. And coming all the way back. So you might experience it rolling from your forehead onto your right temple, through the base of the skull, towards the left ear. As the left ear comes, the shoulder follows. And coming back, head first. Head leading you, whatever part of the head. Try it with your eyes opened and closed. So if you do one with your eyes open and literally lead with your gaze, how does that feel for your neck and your shoulders? Is that different than closing your eyes and leading from your soft palate? What brings you more ease? Creating the spiral from the upper body to the lower body. And coming back through the head. And pausing on your right side. Pausing long enough to feel your legs and your pelvis. And we'll go into the lower half of the body, building the spiral. You can build from your feet. You can build from your knees, your hips. I'm going to start from my feet. Pushing in maybe to left foot, lifting up through the right leg. Let the legs go first, then the pelvis follows, the torso, the shoulders. Coming back, legs go first. Hip, so I really need to lift a little bit, get those core muscles going. Coming all the way back. So feel the difference moving from your legs or hips. You might feel a little more action in the core, and you can keep your feet any distance apart, knees bent, legs straight. It's really up to you. What does it feel like to feel yourself moving from pinky toe to big toe side of the foot? And one of the things I try to do is really have that little bit of resistance to gravity. So gravity, we could easily fall. I resist it just enough so I'm fully in control of the speed. Notice when you're pushing into the ground to create force, when you're pulling away, so maybe lifting that left hip up versus pushing into your right leg or hip. And do one more leading with your legs. I'm pretty calm here, going slow. Normally I'll end up on some other side of the room, but I'm staying on camera for you. You're welcome to go anywhere you want to, though. Go ahead and get your mojo working and move anywhere. Let your freak flag fly, as I like to say. So now we're going to put it all together. So whether you choose to move from your upper body, your head, it could be head or shoulders, you choose. You might take your arm overhead, so your arm's doing a little more initiating now. But you're moving from your upper body, and you're letting yourself keep going. Legs over two. And then when you come back, it's upper body, whether it's your head, your shoulders, maybe some combination. There's that point where you feel a little stuck. Go really slow through the stickiness. Feel the way your muscles help you. I like to let my gaze follow my hand. How do you get the legs over? How do you build this spiral pattern from your upper body and through your lower body? Any extensions of arms or legs, that's there for you. Still leading from the upper body, finishing this last one off maybe. Can you feel the difference when you're leading from the upper body versus lower body? And then do that full spiral. Once again, leading from the lower body. So it could be pelvis and hips first. It might be your legs. Let the legs go and let the upper body follow. Notice any difference in what muscles are helping you to move, or the speed with which you move. What parts just fall with ease and grace and you almost need to control the speed coming down, versus where you really need to push and lift and activate. Take that image of water or wind. And then see if you want to do the same movement from some other part of your body, maybe an organ. You've got your spleen on your left. You can move from your heart. I always like appreciating doing a few, letting my heart do its own dance. What does it feel like to move from your heart? And remember the heart front and back. The back of the heart door. So our back side is what we call our shadow side. It's past and future. We present ourselves in the current time, present time in our front side. Take one more, finish this last one. And then just pausing again on your right side. You can be still or gently rock yourself, curling into a little ball if you'd like. Just noticing what you feel like. Are there any, what we call reflective patterns, things that just happen? We have these reflexes that we don't think about, right? And can you kind of break those down? Be so specific with how you're moving in and out of these spirals. And notice what just comes online for you without asking it to. And then we're going to put these together. So this is where you're definitely going to want that extra space. And you may go four-wheeling off of your mat. That's up to you. I'll stay on camera here today.
And I'm going to leave it completely up to you, whether you choose to play with moving from your upper body. So we're either building the spiral from the head down, so you're going down the staircase, or you're building it from your feet up, or maybe your pelvis, or from the center. You can start in the center of the staircase if you're moving from organs. But we're going to go both directions. So I'm going to start from my heart and roll to the left. And then I'll show you as I come back, if you want to watch this one, what I do when I do the full movement. I'll come back as I like to explode out. And I'm moving from my heart. So exploding out, arm and leg, heart moving me. But I also like to, as much as I like to be big, I like to be small. So I sort of squeeze into that fetal curl at the end and relax. And then let my heart lead me again, coming back into it. Heart goes, arms, head, hips, legs. And if you feel it coming into that fetal curl, like you're slowly exploding out, see yourself growing outward and unspiraling, right? Are we actually created by unspiraling? That's how the heart, it's like a fern unfurling itself, and then we furl back up. And you can choose, where do you want to move from? Any of the organs? If there's an emotion that you're trying to move out, is there a place where you feel that emotion? So does that tighten your shoulders, your head, your neck? Does it tighten your low back? If it's your low back, maybe you want to do a few from your kidneys. Where do you create this movement from? And put your camera, at least for a few, I find that a lot of times people go really fast, so put your camera on slow-mo. Really, really feel every inch of your movement, or centimeter, if you're metric. Okay, so remember the part about making noises? I'm being very polite right now because you can hear me. I can't hear you. But I want you to make noise. Make some noise. I'm giving you permission. I'm asking you. Notice your breath. That opportunity on the exhalation to make sound. That's what it's there for. We breathe through our nose mostly. We make sound through our mouth on the exhale. So I don't want to ruin your sound travel, so I'm going to be quiet, but please, please, please be making noise. Always give yourself permission, too, that anywhere you want to just stop. If it's like, hey, I just want to hang out here, you can do that. And you might even find you come all the way onto your belly. And I've got a microphone that doesn't like that, but a body that loves it. So you can do that. Go all the way onto your belly. Creating those body spirals. Top to bottom, bottom to top. Take a few more. Enjoy. And can you feel the difference between spiraling from your lower body to your upper body, or upper body to lower, or somewhere in your juicy center? I'm going to work my way back onto my back, but you may find that you want to come into a fetal curl to finish. So it's really up to you on your backside or the fetal curl. But find a space, take your time, finish your last one. Find a space where you can be still and be present in your body. And I invite you again to play that energy game. You might even physically feel the energy of your heart. But if you just ask your mind to go anywhere in your body where there's sensation or any part that's presenting itself to you, where does it go? And of course, the mind is like a monkey, and things outside of us might distract us, things inside of us might distract us. But remember that the moment of mindfulness, the moment of change and connecting to your energy, is every time you bring your mind back. It's in the leaving that we can come back home. And each one of those coming back homes is like a mini meditation for your brain, your nervous system, and your subtle body, the energy of the body. If you had set an intention for any particular space in your body, bone, a muscle, an organ, or for any particular emotion, come back to that intention for yourself. How did this practice land with you? Has it changed your relationship to your body in any way? More trust? More curiosity? More playfulness? More intuition? What is the relationship to your body right now? And use as many beautiful, sensational terms as you'd like to explain to yourself. How does your body feel? Where is your mind in your body? And that sense of gratitude for the way our bodies develop, these beautiful spirals, that sacred pattern, spiral energy. No beginning, no end. Growing in, growing out, protecting itself, expanding away from itself. And here we are in the center of it all, the center of our being. If you are on your backside, if you want to roll to your side first, you can. I'm going to do that. Also might want to do a full body yawn, something a little more active, reaching through your arms and legs, hugging the muscles to the bones. And exhaling, letting it go. Another opportunity to make some noise. That full body yawn. You can even move your ankles and your wrists. Our movement reminds us of life, as does our breath in. Every breath in is a connection to our life force. Bring it in, celebrate it. Breathe it out, let it go. Please take your time or lay there as long as you'd like. Maybe you're still spiraling. I don't know. Get interesting hairdos from this one too. I'm going to officially close out with my hands to my heart. Offer you all peace, joy, love, and light from my heart to yours. I have a saying that I bring into all of my meditations that I created a while ago. And this is where I want you to continue to take these 10 days or however many you were with me, which is wake with curiosity, choose love, and go to bed with amazement. And then if I were to swear on YouTube, which I won't, I'd say, when things are going well, throw an effing parade. Appreciate it, enjoy it. And don't hang your hat on the other stuff. Thank you.